Hey guys, what is going on? Today I'm going to compare the Asus Zenfone 6 versus the Samsung Galaxy A80. Now, these phones are very similar and very different at the same time, and I'm going to explain why. Alright, so you can either tap the display and the fingerprint will show up, or you can just guess and yeah, that is legit how it is. Like, I've tried setting it up multiple times and it's always been this slow. And the Zenfone 6 has an LCD and therefore cannot have an in-display fingerprint sensor, so we have ours on the back. And we are in. Now, these displays may look similar on video, but how I'm looking at it right now in real life, the clear winner, the Galaxy A80. We have that 6.7-inch display. This is the biggest phone I have ever owned. This phone feels huge. And the colors are real nice, real accurate. This is a very quality AMOLED display. Maybe not like the flagship phone like the S10 or the Note 9, but this is still a really great display. But the Zenfone 6, don't get me wrong, this isn't a bad display in any way, but when comparing it to AMOLED, this display just blows this one out right out of the water. Now, design. These phones look nearly identical from the front, but as soon as you flip them over, we get to see how each company did their thing. So both these backs look gorgeous in my opinion. The Zenfone 6 took a more retro look, more technological look. You have the blue accents over here and here. And as for the A80, we have a more classical design. We have glossy glass back over here on the bottom and at the top, gold accent over here. And I personally like the A80 more, but this is purely subjective. Everyone has their own taste. Now, performance and specs. The Zenfone 6 has the latest Snapdragon 855 and 6 gigs of RAM. And on this model, we have 64 gigs of storage. There is a 128 version, but it was just a lot more expensive, so I just went with this one. Now, the A80, a lot of the reasons that people don't buy this phone is because it doesn't have an 855, and this is something that really irritates me personally. That people think just because a phone doesn't have an 855, it means it's crap automatically. And I just think that's pure bullshit. Like, maybe in this case of the A80, you may be right, since this is a lot more expensive than other phones that do offer the 855. But this one is rocking the 730G, the Snapdragon 730G, and this is no slouch in any way. This phone runs exactly like how an 855 would, daily usage wise. So just going over here, multitasking, it's gonna be really fast because we do have 8 gigs of RAM after all. So this phone is no slouch. You don't need the latest chip from Qualcomm to have a snappy performance. The Zenfone is about to finish, the A80 not so far behind, and this is the score of the Zenfone 6. Now I'm just gonna wait for the A80. Alright, so both phones have finished. These are the scores you guys can see. And the Zenfone 6 scores way higher thanks to its better processor. But the A80 didn't score bad at all. Let me put this to you into retrospect. This score right here is around the same as the Snapdragon 845. Not exactly the same, it's a bit lower. Just to put this into retrospect, the 845 got the exact same single score, but the multi-score on the 845 is higher. The point is that the chipset this is running is so identical to last year's flagship processor from Qualcomm. It's just crazy. It blows my mind. Now, the Zenfone 6 has dual speakers while the A80 has a single firing speaker. That's mostly due to the fact that we have no earpiece on the A80. Instead, we have one of those forgot what it's called, the piezoelectric vibrators that vibrates the whole display, and so you can use that as a earpiece. We first saw this on the Vivo Nex. Now the Samsung has implemented it. Now, I have had some issues with this phone. I don't know if it's like all phones or mine has a problem, but the top speaker hasn't been working quite well. I'm going to show you. So we're going to start with the Zenfone 6. So as you can see, this gets really loud, but when I covered the bottom firing speaker, they are not in tune at all. Now the speaker sounds really nice. It's really loud, surprisingly loud. But the top speaker, it's not like the bottom at all. It's just way quieter than the bottom speaker. I don't know if it's like that on purpose or mine has a problem. I don't know. But that is the speaker quality on the Zenfone 6. Now, let's try it on the A80. On the A80, it's not bad at all. I could honestly live with the speaker, even though I've gotten so used to dual speakers nowadays. If I didn't have a choice, I would definitely have no problem with the speaker. Even though it's quieter than the Zenfone 6, I can't really say it's better quality than the Zenfone 6. They're about the same, but the Zenfone gets louder, and maybe a bit more quality is here. Both speakers are excellent, but if you want the best speaker, then the Zenfone 6 is a winner in this category. Alright, so I just want to show this right here. Now, the game has both chosen that it's on high graphics, even on the A80. So we're gonna go on here, continue. Now I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, which one loads faster. Alright. Alright, so no surprises, Zenfone 6 loaded it quicker. Now let's start on the A80. So as you can see, I'm running around, jumping. No problem at all. Game is running smooth as hell. Now the A80, we have that flagship processor. We're running around, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I do not see a single difference. So it's smooth here. Oh, I didn't do this. See? So as you can see, both phones are very smooth, and now that we are in this game, you can see the chin is indeed smaller on the A80 than the Zenfone 6. Now, I'm not going to do a full-on speed test because it's clear that the specs here aren't identical. So the Zenfone 6 is always going to load apps slightly faster than the A80, but it's not going to be a huge difference at all because we still have a great processor on the A80. So I would say the speed test is really pointless. You're never going to notice the difference if the phones aren't side by side anyway. Now, the part that you've been waiting for the most, and the only reason I compared these two phones to begin with, is because of the cameras. Both of them have flip cameras. Let's see which one's better. This is just really cool. Now, since this flips differently, I have to hold the phone or it's not going to work. Alright, so the whole module is definitely bigger on the A80, but the Zenfone 6, you only get what you need, like only these two cameras, that's it. On the A80 you get this whole thing over here that I'm not sure what the point of it is. I think it's just design wise, nothing more. Now I'm not gonna lie, the A80 camera has disappointed me because the whole reason someone would pay more for this phone is because of the camera, right? And even when the camera isn't good, then how can you recommend this phone? Maybe it's just me. I'm going to show you some samples. Here you go. This is front-facing video. Exact same resolution. I cannot switch to the wide-angle lens, unfortunately. So, while taking video for some strange and bizarre reason. But the video looks decent overall. And this is the live focus feature. Thanks to that time of flight sensor, it blurs out the background in real time, and this is a really cool feature in my opinion. I mean, I don't know who's gonna need it, but it's there. This is front-facing video, 4K 30 frames per second. We do not have 4K 60 frames per second. We do have 1080 60 FPS, and this is 60 FPS 1080p. Now for me personally, I'm gonna stick with 4K because I do a lot of editing, and 4K is important for me because I do a lot of cropping sometimes. So, but that is 1080p. Okay, so the Zenfone 6 does support 4K 60 FPS video on both the front and the back, obviously, because we also have a front, we also have a flipping camera on this one as well. And thanks to this, you can take amazing selfie video. My only complaint is that it's pretty cropped, and I'm holding the phone pretty far away from my face right now, and my arm is getting tired this way. But you can also do full HD 60 FPS on the wide angle camera, and on the A80 you can't record wide angle video even though it has a wide angle camera, and on the Zenfone 6 you can, so you can take pretty great selfie video here. Alright, so here is a close-up view of that flip camera module. So as you can see, you can move this around real easily, but the phone doesn't like it when you do that. And right now I am controlling it with the volume button. Now what the A80 doesn't have is face unlock, so let me demonstrate. Try that again. Like, this is just really cool. Now we all know that the Zenfone 6 has a safety feature that retracts the camera as soon as you drop it. So it goes into overdrive basically to do it as fast as possible. Alright, so you'd think that since the A80's pop-up is so slow, it doesn't even have an auto retract feature. So yeah. But you'd be wrong. It does have a feature like that, but the only difference is that as soon as it hits the ground, it doesn't even finish retracting. It just retracts halfway, depending on how far you dropped it, and it goes back up. And same when I drop it to my hand, so it's gonna detect free fall, and as soon as I catch it in my hand, it is gonna stop midway, go back up. Let me demonstrate. Pretty cool, right? So which one should you get? I think the answer is pretty obvious here, and it's the Galaxy A80. No, I'm joking. It's the Zenfone 6 for many reasons. Mostly because of the value. You're getting a Snapdragon 855, 6 gigs of RAM, close to stock Android, a brilliant camera. Like, the camera on the Zenfone 6, it blows away the A80, which is pretty surprising, since the only reason someone would want to remotely consider the A80 is because of its camera. That's just the truth. The Zenfone 6 has a better camera. Maybe they'll fix it in a software update for the A80, but for now, the Zenfone 6 is a clear winner in every single category, except for the screen. Like, the only advantage the Samsung has over this phone is the screen, is the display. But that doesn't mean that this is a bad phone. This is still a great phone over here. So perhaps this phone is going to get a price cut, and if that's the case, then it'll be easier to recommend this one. But for now, you can get way better value for your money. Buy the Zenfone 6. You're getting way more for way less with this phone. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video, guys. Peace.